Okay, okay. But the first question, what are the strategies a spouse can use to deal with a partner who views porn occasionally? Uh, from what I can say about this and what I understand is, first of all, Dr. Fabian has given many possibilities of dealing with persons who have been addicted to porn. As it's understood that somebody goes into porn not just like that. There are reasons behind. There are reasons why. Sometimes deep-seated reasons in our because of our childhood experiences, why someone is more prone to get addicted to porn than others who watch porn occasionally and have no problem at all. So first of all, the spouse definitely has to be compassionate. Uh, to deal with a partner is, first of all, as I said, be compassionate. And if the person can talk about it, now that there is so much of information from both of us, you can have a chat with your spouse and see why there is so much of desire. Also telling him the consequences of what could happen, what will happen to the bonding between them if they continue to watch. And also answer, I think, is there a compassionate way
to deal with the spouse if he or she is found viewing porn? Yes. So like we said, the knee-jerk reaction is not the dramatic Bollywood style, the various overbound with emotions. We can sit down. It is two adults in a mature relationship. They can definitely sit down and discuss what happened and how much it's affecting the relationship and what needs to be done together. What I would say is consolidate support. If somebody is watching porn, it's not the end of everything. It could be a bend in the road. Sit down, maintain a relationship dialogue, and find out where you can be of help for that person. That could lead it forward. In fact, that could be a 360-degree turn in the relationship when a person realizes they are forgiven for what has happened and now they work out together. That could be a changing point for the relationship.
I'd like to say something. This would be a combination of both the 2 and 3. That see, it is one thing is, if the spouse who was addicted would listen to the other spouse in saying that in the suggestion of the other spouse who says that why don't we sit and talk about it. Often the other spouse doesn't want to do it at all, because the spouse who is addicted to porn is way beyond understanding the importance of the bonding with his or her spouse, because of the compulsive need the body has for porn. So it sometimes could be difficult for this chat. It could be also easy, but sometimes it's difficult. In such cases, don't just because I am a sister, say because she's a sister, she's talking about holy things. No, I'm talking from experience. You need to pray for that person. You have to pray for that person in a very directed way. It helps. It really works. I have done it myself, praying for persons, and things have come across. Secondly, the what has not come in this because of the lack of time, and I said we could do it when we do it in small groups in more detail. The solutions of this, though Dr. Fabian has given some psychiatric and psychological solutions, there are other solutions which connect with our faith, with our deposit of faith, and those have to be taken advantage of. Like leading a person, first of all, the person has to decide to change. So sometimes the other spouse is not effective enough to convince his or her spouse that it's time to stop. In that case, she has or he has to take the help of another person to convince this, probably a friend, a family friend couple, to convince this person, the partner, that it's time to stop. then I would recommend an inner healing retreat for both. Once, of course, this is only after the fact that the person decides, yes, I realize it is wrong. Then I would recommend that inner healing retreat, because though psychology helps, psychiatry helps, there is some moral element in the guilt which the person feels besides everything else. There is guilt in a person which comes in with all this constant watching, and that undermines that person's spiritual strength as well. The person begins to hate oneself first of all. So that is one thing I would recommend. More details maybe in some other
Uh,
session or in
I,
video.
I will encore that. I will add a line or two. Very beautifully put. Spirituality strengthens and spirituality stabilizes. And if I began my presentation by saying that pornography is as old as the mountains, I think I'd like to end by saying that your faith moves mountains, right? So the strength is there. There's a lot of strength in spirituality. However, the important aspect is to keep it balanced. That is very important. So a balanced approach to everything. In fact, somebody also put a question in the chat box about balanced pornography. What we mean to say is when pornography reaches an extent, that is not what we are looking at balance at that aspect. When there is titillation, when there is explorative curiosity, that is when we have to have balance brought into it. So we realize the more you tell somebody sex is bad, don't look at this, don't watch that, close your eyes, the more is the inclination towards all of this. So we go down to basic healthy sex education right from the time that the kids can understand about the birds and the bees, and this would help later as well.